4 days ago, CircleCI sent out a notification to a lot of their customers saying that they should immediately rotate their secrets and all the other keys that have been stored on CircleCI. Now, CircleCI is a huge CI service that is being used to run build jobs for a lot of companies. Now, this is a huge security incident and potential security incident and has pretty big ramifications for all of us. So let's understand what's happening in this video. CircleCI is probably one of the most popular CI tools on the internet. Now, what is a CI? Now, a CI tool is a continuous integration tool that is used to build code and create some artifacts. It could be a container, it could be a binary, it could be a whole bunch of things. In fact, CI tools today are also used to not just build binaries, but also deploy built binaries or built containers to target environments like the cloud or Kubernetes, so on and so forth. CircleCI happens to be a very popular product that helps you do that, and it's become really popular because it's easy to use. It probably has a whole bunch of integrations and so on. So CircleCI is one of those products along with things like GitHub Actions or GitLab CI/CD or Jenkins that helps you do all of this stuff. Now, recently on 4th January 2023, they released a notification that users of CircleCI should be rotating any and all secrets that they have on CircleCI. Now, this is a pretty concerning thing. And while they did say that we are confident that no unauthorized access has happened, they're doing it out of some additional precaution. But I do have a feeling that this is makings of a potential security incident at play here, which means that CircleCI is suspected a potential compromise, and as a result of which they're asking all of their customers to change out and rotate all of their secrets that are stored in CircleCI. I'm going to talk about a few things related to this, and I'm going to talk about some of the things related to this specific incident and also related to the overall broad scope of the issue that we have dealing with these sort of services on the cloud, especially for building critical software. Start with, why do we store secrets and other sensitive information in a CI tool like CircleCI? Now, this is not new, and we do this a lot of times simply because we need to build code, we need to generate artifacts, and for generating artifacts, we might need to store some secrets related to configuration or to log into a particular service and do certain things in order to perform some activities against a deployment environment and so on. So, secrets are an essential part of the CI workflow. So, you would not find too many CI tools where you don't have secrets. You would either have API keys, you might have SSH keys, you might have tokens, you might have several things. In fact, with CircleCI, one of the tightest integration that CircleCI has is with GitHub. So you'd probably write your code on GitHub and then you would use CircleCI to build that code. So you'd obviously need some kind of a token to access your GitHub repositories to be able to build that code into some kind of an artifact with CircleCI. So CircleCI is not the only thing that lets you store secrets. GitHub Actions or GitHub allows you to do this. GitLab allows you to do this. Jenkins allows you to do this. Any CI tool would typically allow you to store and manage secrets, which is a pretty critical part of the whole operation. Now, one of the things you would have probably noticed is that the number of secrets that you would otherwise store in any of these places has probably gone up, right? Today's applications, you're building out so many different things. You're probably building containers. You have to authenticate to some API services. You probably have to run some unit test jobs, or you might have to run some code quality jobs against a code quality service. You have an entire massive set of secrets and keys that you're dealing with. And all of these secrets and keys are scripted in most cases by your CI service, and that's how it allows you to authenticate to these services at build time and actually run your builds. So this is a very common thing that happens in all of CI services. Now, this is also, as you can imagine, a single large target, because what tends to happen is that if somebody compromises the service or compromises your account on the service, your secrets are likely to be exposed. And since your secrets are likely to be exposed, a malicious actor should be able to use that for their benefit, either inject their own code into your build if it's a critical product, or try and take over your project itself and do things with it. So this is a pretty huge supply chain issue. Our CI system is a pretty large supply chain consideration. In fact, in our class on attacking the application supply chain, we talk about a lot of these attacks that happen against CI, and we also show these in hands-on labs. So CI systems are very squishy targets against these sort of issues. And one of the things that attackers are constantly looking for is ecosystem style attacks. They don't want to just compromise your account and your secrets. They want to compromise the entire service. So their objective would be to compromise CircleCI as a service and get access to a lot of the secrets and the stuff that are stored in CircleCI. So I think that's the objective of a lot of attackers. So the attackers today look for ecosystem return on investment. So they compromise an ecosystem, they get access to tons and tons and tons of secrets, which is why they go after the Python package registry or the Node package registry, where they get access to ecosystem level sensitive information that allows them to perpetrate any kind of attack at scale. So this becomes a very important and a very, very critical thing that a lot of people don't seem to take very seriously, but it is extremely, extremely serious. Now let's look at some of the issues that you see with this sort of thing and some of the larger and broader implications of this in the world of secrets. I'm going to explore some of the problems and, of course, the solutions or potential solutions for something like this. Now, of course, not all of the solutions is something that you can completely control, but let's talk about things that we can do proactively that will help us protect against this sort of thing. So first of all, let's talk about CI systems itself. A lot of you essentially, when you hear about some cloud provider like CircleCI having this potential security incident, would automatically say that, oh my God, this is because everyone stores their stuff on the cloud, and as a result of which, I would never do that. I would prefer local, or I'd prefer keeping it within the organization's network and so on. Now, this has happened a bunch of times this year itself, or late last year, early this year. CircleCI's one LastPass had a compromise. So a lot of people are questioning their reliance on cloud systems to do this sort of thing. But let me ask you this. So let's say you deploy that internal Jenkins server or Jenkins CI service inside your organization's network. Do you think that your secrets are much safer in Jenkins? The answer probably is no. And it's not probably, it's almost always no. Because if CircleCI has not had an issue, you can be sure that your internal Jenkins server is leaking a ton of secrets and a ton of information, unless you have done an amazing job of configuration. So a lot of these cloud systems do abstract a lot of the heavy lifting from you. And I think they're good, but even then, of course, they might suffer security incidents. But don't think that just because you deploy something internally, like in a Jenkins or a Bamboo or whatever it is, it's going to be immune from attack, or it may be immune from external attack. Maybe to a certain extent from external attack, but internally also a lot of leaky secrets can cause major issues with your artifacts and the kind of artifacts you build. So that is something that you need to think about. Now, the second thing when it comes to secrets is secrets rotation. So one of the things that CircleCI has said in their notification is that you need to rotate your secrets down. Now, what does secret rotation mean? So secret rotation essentially means just changing out the old secret and replacing it with a new secret. And this is easier said than done. Now, in some cases, you can do that. So let's say you're on GitHub. Yeah, you can generate a new OAuth token and use that to generate a new secret. That's fine. But a lot of times, you may not be able to do this very easily. A lot of systems that you use may not even allow you to regenerate or disable the old secret and generate a new secret or a new API token for you. So this is actually a pretty huge issue that we have as an industry, where we have these APIs and tokens that are being generated all the time, but these systems don't have a way of being able to nullify or disable the previous secret and allow you to regenerate a new secret. So a lot of systems don't, and some of the systems that you're using, if they don't allow this, you need to seriously reconsider the use of some of these systems. So secret rotation is a lot harder than you think. The second thing is rotating secrets. Now, what secrets do we need to rotate, especially in the light of this incident? So let's say you're a CircleCI user, you already have some secrets on CircleCI. What are these secrets that you need to rotate? The short answer is everything. Now, CircleCI has said that you need to rotate SSH keys, which means that you need to delete the old SSH keys and regenerate a new SSH key if you're using SSH. Any other token, any other API key, any other secret that you're using, you need to regenerate, which means that any secrets you have are potentially things that might have already gotten compromised. So you need to rotate all of these secrets. So this is a lot easier said than done, like I said, for the reasons I mentioned. So these are things that you have to do. So if you are a CircleCI customer, you are using CircleCI services, you should consider doing this ASAP. Do it now, because that is in their notification. And while they've not confirmed that any authorized access has happened, if they're asking you to do this, it probably means that it might get worse. So please do it right now. All right, now I'm done with the gloom and doom. Let's talk about solutions. Let's look at what it is that we can do to protect against this sort of thing from happening later on. Now, remember, what I'm saying right now is not a silver bullet, in the way that you can't really protect yourself in all possible ways from something like this. There are only limited things you can do, but there are meaningful things that you can do to protect yourself from this sort of thing happening. So first of all, the first thing that I think you should do is have a system of regularly rotating secrets. So in the sense that have like a defined period where you rotate your API keys for critical systems or your secrets for critical systems, and that will make this process a little bit more, in general, a lot better for you, because secrets, as they tend to be used more and more, the potential for compromise of these secrets increases. So definitely have a process of doing this for your critical applications. Now you can decide the time frame and the risk factor for this. You want to do it 6 months, every 6 months, every 1 year, every 2 years, whatever it is. I would let you define it, because that's based on your risk tolerance, your ability to deal with risk, and your threat model specifically. So definitely think about how you can rotate secrets yourself. The second thing is you need to ideally step away from doing secrets itself if possible. So one of the things that I've particularly liked about the way GitHub authenticates with AWS. So for instance, I use GitHub Actions a lot. And in GitHub Actions, you have the ability to authenticate with AWS over OpenID Connect. And OpenID Connect allows you to use a token, an API token, a short-lived JWT or a JSON Web Token, to be able to authenticate to AWS to deploy whatever resources that you want on AWS. And this, in my opinion, is the way to go, because end of the day, what tends to happen is that if you have a persistent secret, you may not even know that it has been compromised. Unless you know that it has been compromised, you really don't have any idea that it has been. So a lot of times you are running blind. So I would recommend using OIDC or any other identity-based pegging system in order to actually do this, because the obvious benefits, right? This gives you a short-lived secret, which doesn't mean that that secret is going to be persistent for a length of time or for years and years and years, unless it's rotated. So definitely think about moving to OIDC or any other identity-based system where you're generating a token based on validation of identity every single time, and that token is short-lived and it's linked to a role and it's traceable. It's much more auditable as well. So I would think that that's a better way to do things. Of course, I also understand that not all systems allow you to do this. Some systems like AWS with GitHub allows you to do that, but not all systems allow you to do this. So when you are making tool choices and considerations, think about this as you go into it. The third thing you should do is probably use some kind of deception, like using things canaries or something like that, to be able to identify a token being used. So generate some kind of a canary token and use that in your CI jobs. If somebody triggers, it clearly means that something malicious, somebody has tried to do something malicious, or somebody's tried to do something out of the ordinary here. So that might be useful for you to detect and threat hunt things as they go on. So this, of course, is a slightly more mature thing. I would still recommend you do all of these other things before, but this I would think is a very useful thing to do, simply because you will be able to identify something that has potentially happened. In fact, one of the tweets that I saw related to the incident specifically referenced the use of canary token from Thinkst to be able to detect that, hey, this was something that has happened against their CircleCI instance, and as a result of which they were able to identify that, hey, something is amiss and we need to figure it out. The other thing that you definitely need to do is start looking at audit logs. A lot of people don't think about this at all. A lot of these systems allow you not just look at their audit logs, but to potentially export the audit logs. So definitely start taking these audit logs seriously. Start pushing them to a central system that you can manage, and you are able to query based on incidents, based on the kind of access patterns that you have. Not everything can be solved through preventive controls. Definitely think about having detective capabilities built in there. And of course, the final thing, start exercising good practices on these platforms itself. Of course, multi-factor authentication, making sure that users are pruned, unnecessary users and service accounts are deleted, unnecessary apps that are using your CircleCI or GitHub are removed every so often. These are hygiene checks that will help you solve these problems, because you never know. Let's say some application, that some integration with GitHub that you've not used in months and months gets compromised. You may not even know that they've been compromised. They may not know that they've been compromised. So definitely keep pruning things that you don't need. A lot of this stuff happens from things that you don't need, and as a result of which, pruning things that you don't need helps you remove unnecessary risk. So start to look at users, multi-factor authentication, service accounts, applications that are integrated to your build services or to your source code management services. That will help you do a lot of this. This is certainly not the first incident of its type to happen, and certainly I don't think it's going to be the last. Secrets are going to be a squishy target, especially on build systems. So build systems are a squishy target. Secrets on build systems are also going to be a squishy target. So we need to constantly look at approaches that can help us address this in a meaningful way. So while I don't know the exact extent of the breach that has happened or potential breach that has happened at CircleCI, it certainly, I don't think, is a outlier in any way. You are seeing a whole bunch of cloud services that are falling prey to this sort of issue, and this is only going to get more and more pronounced as we have more integrated systems and distributed systems on the cloud. So I would say that this is going to be the way of things to come. We just have to build better capabilities to reduce the possibility of this happening in the first place. So try and eliminate secrets in the first place through things like OIDC, start looking at preventive controls, rotate secrets proactively. All of these things can help you overcome this. Of course, these are not guaranteed success factors. There are still possibilities where the provider themselves may be compromised, and as a result of which the effect of this attack may be much more elevated. But regardless, you should still do whatever you can to prevent against this sort of issue and be able to proactively detect against this sort of issue happening to your environments in the future. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. For this kind of content and more, I would highly recommend you like, share, and subscribe to our channel AppSecEngineer so that we can keep creating this sort of awesome content for you. Thank you very much.